Milhouse, ¿estás viendo el canal 7? ¡Ah, sí! Es algo fantástico. ¡Ah!
You ready? I'm ready. Oh my goodness! This place is off the hook!
Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. I'm pooped.
Yes, I should be. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora Borealis.
Santa's got a surprise for you.
Sandals and shorts, and surf, and scuba, and sand, and sailing, and soccer. San Diego, California.
Previously on Two Balls and a Mic.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 256. It is a solo episode today, 2 days before the day that most people have off in this nation. We're going to go ahead and get down to it. San Diego FC has rounded up their roster and has filled in some spots. Super draft has happened, 5 selections, including number 1 overall pick, Manu Dua from UCSB. We had a talk with Coach Mikey Varas and Dua himself, as well as some other updates as far as roster. Anibal, Capitan de Panama, makes his landing here in San Diego. What type of presence will that bring? What type of leadership will this round out this new MLS team that's starting? Because guess what? San Diego FC's schedule is out. The official calendar, time to fill in those calendars for next year. 2025 is happening. And it will be here, well, couple of days actually. But San Diego FC will start their campaign here in a couple. Thank you for joining me here tonight. We're going to also talk about San Diego Wave a little bit. It is all but given, all but confirmed. We've been reporting it. Jonas Eidevall looks to be closing in as the manager of San Diego Wave FC. Everything and anything is happening over with the neighbors in the same venue for San Diego FC and San Diego Wave. Goals, gaps, and greats of the year. We'll see where this takes us. We'll see where this goes. Well, thank everybody who actually made it here. Chiva couldn't. Clearly. Abe couldn't. It's okay. We move forward. Because people want to talk about it. People want to go ahead and have a space. It's a very cool time. We'll talk San Diego Sockers as well. San Diego Sockers defeating Tacoma Stars, the one team that beat them to open this campaign up at home. Second victory at Front Wave Arena. The indoor team is coming on back, 16-time champions. We're also giving away, don't forget, an authentic SDFC kit. That's going to happen on the next episode, on the final episode of the year of Two Balls and a Mic, where we're going to go ahead and have the Two Balls and a Mic / San Diego Punto Football end of the year awards. And again, thank you for everybody who's been interacting with us. That's something that we are very much looking forward to. A lot of new things in the new year. Can't wait to have the great Chivas back. Season greetings, cool vintage Padres cap. Nope, 100%. Good pal made this cap happen. A little old school and little fuzzies. I do not take care of caps. As well as this individual. You wear caps to wear them. If they, get messed up, I don't match them with my shoes. If I did the payment plan, somebody on Instagram, Cookie760, if I did the payment plan for the season tickets, when will I have access to them? It's a good question. Maybe somebody here in the chat who already has season tickets for San Diego FC can go ahead and lend a hand with that question. If they did the payment plan, when will the season tickets or when will they have access? I mean, I'd refer you back to the club. But it is also now happening that the supporter tickets have been extended. The $18 supporter tickets have been now extended all the way through January 24th. January 24th is now the new day where anybody who joins the Independent Supporters Union and a group within and or not just join the union, you can go ahead and have access to the $18 per match tickets, standing room only. That's to defend San Diego at its core. But yeah, that's what's happening with San Diego FC on the front lines. We're also going to go ahead and have a special guest to break down a little bit more in depth some of these players from the Super Draft that were picked up by San Diego FC. They are Kick a Ball Pod, and they will be coming in here closer, hopefully to 8:30. We're going to make it happen and have a conversation as far as what does this mean. A lot of people were asking around the time, hey, like, are these players going to get any meaningful playing time? Are these players just names that we're drafting? Just you have to draft people, so you have to get some players underneath the San Diego FC banner through that mechanic of the Super Draft. Again, I'll go ahead and play some of the questions after the selection of Dua by Coach Mikey Maras and Dua himself, as far as what that means. It's a very interesting just mechanic for soccer in a sense where not only is a player that's been playing collegiately at a high level is getting a shot and a chance to now move into the professional aspect. But with San Diego FC, it's a little bit more interesting, an added layer where you may be entered through school to be part of San Diego FC, which has a school of its own for soccer. Obviously, the Right to Dream program instilled and embedded with everything San Diego FC is doing. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit more into that. We have Julio, founder of Kick a Ball Pod, joining us here in a couple of minutes. I know that they watched Manu Dua play 8 to 10 times this season, so some good insight here for what's coming down for San Diego FC. Sorry, all I wanted for Christmas was San Diego with the football jersey. I missed out. There may be one in the size small running around there. If that interests you at all, size small, San Diego Punto Football shirt. Right there. You can go ahead and hit me up. Make that happen. Here in a bit. But yeah, everything seems to be coming in together. Like I said, this jersey is going to be given away next episode of Two Balls at a Mic. Hopefully, once Chiva and or Abraham don't abandon me for better things, I guess. But it's okay. We truck on. Thank you, everybody who is joining here. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit more in depth for San Diego FC, which have been making moves here in the last couple of days. It was announced earlier in the week that San Diego FC, through free agency, have signed Anibal Godoy, midfielder from Panama City, Panama, un Panameño, some Latin influence. It was announced through their press release that Anibal Godoy, who holds a U.S. green card, very interesting kind of thing to just throw in there. I've never seen that in a transfer announcement internationally. Maybe I'll pay more close attention. Has signed a 1-year contract through the end of 2020, of the end of the 2025 MLS season, with club options for 2025, 2026, and 2027 MLS seasons. The quote from Tyler Heaps, who has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Anibal is a proven midfielder with experience at the highest level who brings valuable depth to our midfield, says, again, sporting director here, Tyler Heaps. As a leader, his experience in as Panama's captain and his time with the expansion side will make him an important part of the squad. We look forward to welcoming him to San Diego FC in January. And so, a veteran of the league, a veteran of MLS, Anibal. Again, you start putting this team together and who they have at their disposal, and that midfield right now is absolutely stacked in terms of literal personnel who are there. Not necessarily saying that the talent that it occupies said midfield is going to be lights out at the moment of departure. Again, if you have any kind of ideas, or does this excite anybody out there a little bit more? I've been getting mixed reviews from a lot of people that I've been talking about as far as whether or not they're more excited outside of the fact that it's closer, outside of the fact that like time wise, like time is almost here for that MLS team to start, that there's not really a lot of excitement happening from the roster build itself. And again, it's kind of to be expected from an expansion team. A lot of people are coming in, learning. I don't want to just say the players, but learning the style, the structure, the GAM, the TAM, the allocation money. What does it mean? If there's a salary, you need to bring the salary down and use general allocation money in order to go ahead and make a player cheaper, so it doesn't go towards the salary cap. Again, very Americanized, very, I don't want to say anti-football, but that's a greater MLS discussion at this point. These are the structures and paradigms and parameters in which Tyler Heaps and company have to build a roster, and so they have a lot of midfielders and a lot of versatility. And that's something Coach Mikey Varas and Tyler Heaps have been really speaking to in terms of making this roster playable right out the gate. There's been times where players have been looked at, players have been kind of pinpointed. It's that short list of players that they would want to go ahead and get. I know last week we spoke with, we were talking between Chiva and I, and just some of the developments that happened with Guti Gutierrez and just the negotiations of that, just per the sources of saying, like literally, like there were discussions, like the San Diego FC is discussing and having conversations with Chivas Rayadas de Guadalajara. Whether or not those actual discussions are now going to lead into anything fruitful and beneficial, again, per a source that is pretty trustworthy, and it's not likely that any Chivas player at this point would make the jump over to MLS to San Diego FC, just because, I mean, and this is just a issue where domestic players get valued very highly, as opposed to what their potential actual market value may be. That's happening once again for the Chivas squad and the negotiations with San Diego FC. But yeah, that's kind of where that's at. But they essentially have a prototype. They have a prototype of player that they want to go ahead and put next to, again, Sverskov, Ingvartsen, who are going to be the architects really and pumping the DNA of Right to Dream through San Diego FC. Heine Ginkling Bruseth, the young midfielder, the young Norwegian midfielder, is going to be essentially that Guti Gutierrez. Hopefully, best case scenario, this is what happens. And we'll talk a little bit more roster as far as who everybody is. Again, going and having the opportunity to be number 1 overall and get Dua is certainly part of the main roster. But now you have the talent where an Anibal Godoy can just go ahead and be thrown in there for depth. You have to think of the longevity. You have to think of Leagues Cup. You have to think of potential, I guess, playoff run at this point. And there's going to be players that are just you're never going to hear from again. Like they're going to be banished to the bench and the shadow realm. And also, interestingly enough, most recently, we had the rumors once again spur up with Brandon Vasquez and his involvement with San Diego FC. I love to throw it at it because it's been a while. George over here saying that it's always been a problem with Liga MX. They always overvalue their players, so it's hard for Mexican players to head to Europe. 100%. And that's what people say in Mexico, like chingas a tu propia gente. Like you just not opening those opportunities up for development, something that the U.S. has done very well, and it's paying dividends, right? Like you have a lot of youngsters in the U.S. men's national team who have started their career in academies over into Europe and flourished in their own different ways, some better than others. Like this wave of McKinney's, Pulisic's, Gio Reyna's, like these are players where Mexico once in a while would be heralding as just heroes and legends. Right now, Efrain Juarez, a former Mexico player, is a manager in Colombia, and they just won the double as a manager, and that's the greatest thing since sliced butter in Mexican soccer. So I mean, it's an interesting time. Whether or not Brandon Vasquez makes his way over to San Diego would certainly be interesting. We asked him here a couple of months ago at the Cholos game, post Cholos game, how he would feel about coming over playing in San Diego FC. Has it ever a dream to maybe come back to the region and play against the new SDFC in those coming years, or with perhaps?
Maybe. I don't know what the future holds, but all I know for now is that I got to give him out for Monterrey and prepare myself to possibly be in the World Cup. A lot of fun playing with him.
Has it ever a dream to maybe come back to the region and play against the new SDFC in those coming years, or with perhaps?
Maybe. I don't know what the future holds, but all I know for now is that I got to give him out for Monterrey and prepare myself to possibly be in the World Cup.
A lot of fun playing. That'd be very interesting. So let's go ahead and start off with once again the Super Draft happening. Selection number 1 for San Diego FC. Them getting the first round draft right before as well. It was announced that San Diego FC through the re-entry draft, which is essentially another process for roster building, not just for expansion teams, but for anybody in the MLS. San Diego FC would have the last pick out of 30. It's in the reverse order of positioning. So last pick would be the champions, normally 29 LA Galaxy. But with SDFC having already made picks during the expansion draft, they would go ahead and now move to 30th, the last pick over all the other teams in the league. So in that, they chose in number 30 and number 32 in the re-entry draft, Yaya Boa and Franco Negri. And now they are required to make a quote genuine offer to the player within 7 days for their selection in the second stage of the 2024 re-entry draft. So if they want to stay in the ecosystem of the MLS and want to just have an opportunity to be chosen and selected, that's a process in which players can go ahead and do that. Yaya Boa, it was one of those players where it was spoken that he was going to go ahead and join in and be selected in this expansion draft. But again, the movements were very last minute. CJ Dos Santos, the goalkeeper that they took right before the expansion draft, actually was also slated to be selected during the expansion draft, but some movements on the back end necessitated that to happen before, once again, the expansion draft. So fast and loose, and a lot of last second changes that are happening in soccer in San Diego, as well as with the neighbors over in the San Diego Wave side of things. Well, we'll get to that here in a bit. That keeps the players in the country. Look at the South American countries, so many of them outside their countries. MLS isn't stopping U.S. players. They encourage it. So many Americans abroad, 100%. And again, until Mexico either catches up to that logic, either they, it's an institutional thing because they're just, at the end of the day, looking at to see who the biggest buck is going to be. And, if you can hit with one or two players here or there and you sell them off, and best case scenario, somebody like Chucky Lozano, right? Like that's a trajectory. You have Pachuca player who's coming in and just doing very well in the league, gets the attention, very young, gets shipped over to Europe, is vetted, is experimented, and does well, relatively speaking, especially in terms of level that he played. Talking with that great Napoli team, one of the best Napoli teams, the first Napoli team to win the Scudetto since Maradona back in the 80s. So, I mean, that's best case scenario for somebody who is coming out of Liga MX. And at the end of the day, like, Mexican sides will probably be like, man, we should have sold him for more. Um, but those stories are a dime a dozen. And that's the thing. A positive thing about potentially the right to dream aspect of all this is that whether or not you have talents here in the area, whether in Tijuana or San Diego. There are opportunities now for players to be developed and have a career in football. I can't tell you how many times, how many players I ever saw in Tijuana that were so much better than players here in the U.S. and vice versa, right? And vice versa. There were players here with sound technique that professionals over there don't even have. Um, but it's neither here or there, nor there with what no way, arriba la América. Neither here nor there with the process now. It's something that's gonna be a long-term thing. The case study on San Diego FC in about 20 years will be absolutely fascinating, um, with the Right to Dream projects and all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, we'll go ahead and switch gears because again, the super draft happened. That is the collegiate draft, and so players from colleges who are made eligible are have the opportunity to be selected in this super draft. And this is something that where to go. And it is something that, again, these players come in and it's almost like a master's program, right? Because they're drafted into the academy, a team with an academy with the right to dream. So yeah, you graduated from UCSB, you graduated from UNC Charlotte, you graduated from Washington in Harrison Berto's case, and Sammy Kanan, right? He stays local from the University of San Diego. Great local story, wanted to be highlighted. Now the second local player here for San Diego FC, Donovan Sessons from Sacramento State. Like, this is an opportunity now to move on to the next level. And you know that's how my mindset on this. These players were selected for an opportunity of a master's program in soccer. Whether that's going to be beneficial for them overall, we'll see. How many of them pan out will be interesting. But right now, I think Manu Dua has the most realistic chance um, to break into that first team and get some important minutes and be developed into somebody who is going to be important down the line and can really grow. So that was the first selection. Let's hear from Coach Mikey Varas, and then we'll hear from Manu Dua himself right after the draft. He said they should have pick SD up. What? Edwin says they should have SD pick up group super draft. That'd be pretty cool. All right, let's hear from Coach Mikey Varas.
of different routes.
Go to Alejandro now.
Hey, Mikey, thank you for your time. Alejandro Villaseñor with San Diego Punto Football. I mean, you mentioned Manu, obviously, as a 6, obviously he's 6'4". Jep is one of your most experienced midfielders right now. What do you hope that Jeppe can teach Manu, or what do you also hope like Manu can learn from Jeppe?
Yeah, so I mentioned Manu's got a tremendous growth mindset. He's someone who's hungry to learn, and Jeppe is a top leader. On top of that, we've also signed Annabelle Godoy, who's also a top leader, Panamanian captain, both tremendous players and huge leaders in the locker room. So Manu's going to have like the best mentorship possible. And then on top of that, we're looking forward to learning from Manu also. It's not just the leadership teaching our young players, but our young players come with a brave and relentless spirit, and we're looking forward to learning from him as well.
We'll go to Chase.
Perfect. And so we'll get a little bit more on Coach Mikey Varas and his thoughts on the selection here of Dua for the first overall pick. Bring it on back here. Hello there. And like I said, we do want to go ahead and just get into a little bit of the, discussion and further expansion on who this player is. With that, we're going to go ahead and bring on a guest from the Kickball Pod. I know there's a lot of fantastic work that goes into the coverage of collegiate soccer and just soccer generally in the States. There's just so much of the sport happening that it's difficult to catch it all. And so I'm really happy that somebody is doing such a great job with that. So with that, we're going to go ahead and welcome on Julio from Kickball Pod over onto San Diego Punto Football. Julio, how are you doing, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining. Kickball Pod, obviously a successful outlet. I follow you on Instagram, and the work that you guys do on that is incredible. Covering the college soccer and pro soccer in the United States. Tell me, like, how did that come about?
Well, it probably started. I wanted to create like a soccer media page, like probably like 10 years ago when I was playing high school soccer, because I didn't see like all these sports media page covering college soccer. I would just see like people covering college football, college basketball, like the big sports here in the U.S. And I played college soccer like at a JUCO school, but knew I wasn't going to go pro, so I started just interning at USL2 teams. I don't know if you heard about that league during the summer. San Diego is going to have a new USL2 team, so check them out as well. And yeah, I just interned there for 4 years at Ventura County Fusion. I wanted to do something like outside of soccer. I didn't want to be a coach, but at the same time, I wanted to be my own boss. So yeah. Well, I also took like a break from soccer for like 2 years and stuff, and was just working a normal job. Then I wanted to get back into soccer. Then I was like, should I intern again, or like just get like a small job at like a USL2 team out here, or with Orange County again? And well, I also worked with Orange County for a bit, but yeah. Then I just was on Instagram, and again, I would just see like a bunch of college football and basketball pages. I would never see anything about soccer, so I was like, how should I create one? Then it first started off with the podcast. I interviewed like 30 college players, USL2 players and stuff. Then like more coaches and players started following me, so that grew slowly over during the summer when I was covering USL2. Then during the fall, I started covering college soccer, which that blew up, which was last year. I went from like having like probably like 50 followers to like probably like 3,000. Then we're like almost to 8,000 right now. But yeah, well, that's some of the story, but there's like a way longer story and stuff. But yeah, that's some of it. I just wanted to also highlight college soccer players, give them the platform, because like I was mentioning, there's just big, huge college podcasts that cover basketball and football, and I just wanted to cover college soccer because there's a bunch of hidden talent that gets like overlooked, and I just want to give them the platform that they deserve.
Julio from Kick a Ball Pod, again covering a lot of soccer in the States, just everywhere and anywhere. The college game is huge, and again, just following that, and with that, the selection, the super draft is this mechanic in which a real life career can happen through going to school, and the choice to have the education first and just kind of utilize that avenue is very interesting. But first selection overall for the MLS and for the new San Diego FC team through MLS is Manu Dua, a midfielder. Some of the things that Coach Mikey Vadas was saying is he's going to mirror his role model Sergio Busquets with a style of play. It just meant a whole lot to really be selected for him, be the selection for San Diego FC. You've watched Dua play over at UCSB over in Santa Barbara. You mentioned a couple times, 8 to 10 times, I believe. So, what kind of player can we expect to see here in San Diego?
Dude, that's a player who's young, hungry, confident with the ball, like out bodies everyone. He stopped like the top forwards this year that play at Missouri State, New Hampshire, Portland, Stanford, and a few other big schools. He's just a very confident player with the ball, and like you see right there, he's a ball hog, likes attacking the ball, and makes does a bunch of long balls, short passes. Just an overall great player, and great play for you guys in the future, because I think he might get like a bunch of minutes this year. Honestly, great player.
Yeah, and this is somebody who you look at it and can really go into that molding aspect of it, right? Like, again, I was mentioning a little bit earlier where, these players go from a college sense where they're playing and they're going and playing through an education and getting an education in the game itself. But now Manu gets to move into the MLS, and it's almost like a master's program where he gets to now develop his style with a style that's going to be asked of him. And it's a good time. He's very young, and so that's somebody who can definitely be molded into who San Diego FC really needs. And man, a 6'4" center defensive mid. I mean, that's impressive. And he doesn't look like it. He carries himself very well. It looks like he has great vision, a great touch as well. Just creates his own space. And again, who's going to get in front of that? Just towering frame coming at you full speed out the midfield. That's a good player to have there.
No, yeah, for sure. Just got to watch him around like 8 times, and also the second round or the first round matchup versus UCLA. He just dominated that game. Like, was on both sides of the field, offense and defense. Just didn't let UCLA's strong offense score, and he just a ball hogger, just dominating. Like right there, boom. I thought that was going in, but didn't. But just overall great player. Just very confident with the ball too for his age and stuff, and also the right to Dream Academy. I think that's why he got drafted, because there's a bunch of players out here in Santa Barbara, like Emmanuel Boateng, former Galaxy player, was also out here in Santa Barbara, and also ended up signing. Well, he ended up going to Europe and coming back to Galaxy. Then former second overall pick Joshua Yarrow, the center back, he was also part of that program and was also a Santa Barbara player out here. So that right to Dream Academy is producing a lot of good players.
Yeah, I see in the chat Esteban like 6'4", like yeah, like that's a frame on the boy, and again doesn't necessarily look like it, but carries himself very well. He said that his favorite player that he looks up to is Sergio Busquets. And so if you're not familiar with Sergio Busquets, first do some research. He's in the MLS now. He's easy to find. And he's easy to track. He doesn't move a lot. He's very stoic in his presence in that midfield as well. But the way that I've seen, and I've seen a couple of reels of Dua, is also almost like a Paul Pogba that he can. Yeah.
Exactly like Paul Pogba, likes having the ball. Then his long ball ability too, just to Alexis Ledoux, who is their one of their best players this season. Alexis Ledoux, just the long balls to him. Just he's just really mature for his age, and he's also a great person off the field. Got to chat with him a few times, and yeah, just hope for the best for you guys.
No, absolutely. And so that was the number one pick in general. But again, there were other picks after as well. Defender Ian Pilcher. Pilcher earned the first team All AAC honors while helping lead the 49ers to their second straight American Athletic Conference championship. The Charlotte, North Carolina native started 17 games this season, recording 1 goal and captaining the back line that finished first in the nation in shutout percentages. Again, like, they're building somebody who can be coachable, I feel. And are you familiar with some of the other players that SDFC has also drafted?
Yeah, with Ian Pilcher, very strong physical center back, played a bunch of games, has a lot of experience. Will probably compete for a spot. I don't think he might spots confirmed for him, but yeah, hopefully he gets a good shot at a spot for the roster. Also, Harrison Burdos from Washington, your third pick, another center back who also played USL 2 this past summer and won the championship. Last year at Washington, he didn't play that much. Then this year he blew up. I had a few conversations with him, good guy, and he just likes to win and compete. And hopefully he gets a roster spot, or I don't know if he's going to return to college, because you know how players, the team has the players' rights for 2 years, so I don't know if he's going to return to college, but I think he's also ready for a shot. But if you want the more mature center back or older with more experience, it'll be Pilcher, but Burdos is a player to look out in the future as well.
Yeah, Burdos was awarded the Top Growers Soccer National Team of the Week honorable mention during his freshman year in 23. He played 12 matches, making 2 starts, recorded 1 goal, 1 assist that season. Berto played in the MLS Next with Seacoast United, but in 2022 qualified to the MLS Next playoffs. The person and the player that was pretty much, highlighted through San Diego FC and their official, channels was the local kid, USD, now alum, Sammy Kanan. Sammy Kanan, forward for the USD Toreros, third team All-American following his stellar third season with the Toreros that led the team and in both goals and points. I've seen him play a couple times live, and yeah, let me tell you, like that kid is absolutely talented. Have you seen Kanan play?
No, yeah, I actually, he this past summer he played with the USL 2 side, Ventura County Fusion, and I'm out here in Ventura County, so got to watch him a few games. He got injured towards the end of the season and came back, but yeah, got to chat with him a couple of times. Good person off the field. All these players are good people off the field. Yeah, and I could tell you that he's very excited. That's like a dream come true for him. This San Diego local guy, 2-time CIF champion out there for high school. He just balled out this year. When I first met him, I'm like, dude, you're a baller. Hopefully you get drafted to San Diego. What I thought Pilcher of 29th pick, or your guys' second pick, I thought Sammy Kanan was going to go there. I was hoping. Then during the Burdos one, I thought Sammy Kanan was going to get him, but then I was like, damn, is another team going to get Sammy Kanan? But I'm glad he ended up in San Diego because he's very happy, has a bunch of family out there and friends, and just, yeah, really happy for him.
No, absolutely. And again, highlighted through the official outlets. You have it here.
Superstar player right here? I mean, I'll have to see. Just give it a couple of years. I don't know.
And funny thing about that last goal was against Burdos. Sammy Kanan scored on Burdos against Washington. He took him on and scored right there. And now they got drafted by the same team. So funny.
Yeah, no, it's funny how all that happens, and interesting too. Like, I mean, you really look at how the NCAA tournament panned out, right? Like, it ended up being the team Vermont that took out USD in painful fashion.
Yeah.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. Otherwise, yeah, it was USD's to absolutely take the national championship, but you know they have a good program there as well. So Donovan Sessons, Sammy Kanan. You also had again Harrison Bertos. You had Ian Pelcher and the #1 overall draft pick Mano Dua in the MLS Super Draft. I'd like to get a little bit more talk and explore the soccer scene a little bit more in the college sense, Julio. But again, you're doing absolutely great work. Is there anything else that you want to kind of leave everybody off or let everybody know where they can find you?
I have one quick question about the San Diego team. I don't know if you know about this. Will they be having an MLS Next Pro team, or have you heard any news about that?
They will not have an MLS Next team. They will be having a team through the Right to Dream Academy.
Okay.
So they will be having a team constructed through the Right to Dream in the same way that, you know, the Academy for Right to Dream is also an men and women's academy. So they'll also have a women's team, but not necessarily play in the NWSL. So it's kind of a weird space where SCFC and more importantly Right to Dream will kind of run, but that's going to be what's going to take in part. But San Diego SC, City SC, excuse me, City SC San Diego will be the next USL 2 team here in San Diego coming up, as you were mentioning a little bit earlier, Julio. A lot of soccer in the city of San Diego is coming to fruition. But could you please let everybody know where they can go ahead and find you?
Yeah, just follow Kickball Pod on Instagram, also on Twitter. We're lightly on Twitter, but mostly on Instagram. We post a lot, especially on our stories. We also have a small podcast that's slowly growing on YouTube, Kickball Pod, where we have 2 hosts, Daniel Lang and Malcolm Phillips, both located in New York, and they interview top college soccer players, coaches, USL 1 coaches, players, USL Championship, like all the leagues, and hopefully we get to interview MLS players this upcoming season. But yeah, it's slowly been growing over the past 2 years, and yeah, just check us out. And I also want to give a shout out to the Cuyamaca college soccer team, which won the state championship. And yeah, just have a lot of support from San Diego, and just yeah, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Let's revisit this, Julio. It's great stuff, great work that you're doing. So keep it up, and we'll definitely keep an eye out for everything that you guys are doing. So thank you over there, Kickball Pod. Thank you, Julio. Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Julio from Kick a Ball Pod, and some good stuff, some good talks about some of the players that are coming in, how likely that the players will be there, you know, on the roster for the starting 11 on day 1. Not likely. Maybe one makes an appearance as a substitute in the last couple minutes, depending on how it goes. But neither something to necessarily fret about. But yeah, to you know where that San Diego USL team will play. Yes, but it's not public yet. I think they're gonna talk about it amongst themselves. But let me check. Let me send a text actually to see if yeah. But yeah. Edwin says, very excited for all these college players and hoping to get a lot of playing time. I'm hoping this inspires more kids to pursue the college pathway, which is very true. Like, that's a very true thing. Like, at the end of the day, if you are able to get an education, if you're able to play soccer and, you know, get a full ride or, you know, just kind of fund yourself through the sport, and whether or not you make the choice to move into the professional setting, if you make it or not, you still have that, you know, back pocket education too. And at the end of the day, if that's what Right to Dream is also going to help people here locally, then that's great. It's also going to help people from Mexico. It's going to help people from Tijuana come over, be part of an academy, get an education, potentially have an opportunity for a green card, which apparently, from the media release for Anibal Godin, is very important. Literally the second thing to be mentioned in his announcement. He has a green card. He is good to go here in the States. Don't you worry about that, San Diego. We have Anibal Godoy, who is ready to go this 2025 season. All right, we're going to keep this going in terms of San Diego FC because, again, there's a lot of news that is coming in. We are going to talk about who's this we? Who's this we? Who's this we, dude? Like, what am I do? Like, Pato, Chiva, Abe. I'm happy for you guys. You guys are enjoying your time. I'm the one that's here. Look, I got my two screens now in front of me. Like, there's nobody to help me on that side. There's nobody to help me over here. It's hard to produce a one-man show. Even though some days I just think to myself, man, it should be a one-man show every week. Tony, I'll drive to your house right now. I also was not going to have this be as long as an episode. But thank you. Thank you, Esteban. Appreciate that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and come back, honestly, because we're going to talk about this real quick, wrap it up, because I need to start wrapping gifts. Goals, gaffs, and greats are going to be goals, gaffs, and greats, holiday style. Some goals, some good stuff. What is the best present you've ever gotten? We'll just kind of start with that. What's the best present you've ever gotten for goals? So prepare that. Put it in the chat. Like, literally, the best gift that you've ever received. I can still remember the PlayStation 1. Unwrapping the PlayStation 1 was one of the greatest days of my life. Played WCW Nitro for hours. And it's hard to explain how excellent. I'm just going to leave the two of me here. Leave that one. Just do that. Hello. This is so dumb. Hard to explain. A couple years ago, been with my partner for over a decade now, and it comes a point where it's like, hey, well, what do you want? I'm like, it's okay. And I got a PS5, and that feeling was replicated. So that's good. Gaff, holiday gaffs. What's a thing not to do? Make sure that you're preparing. Ever going to have a live studio audience? Throughout the years, this is going to turn into AMA, by the way. I just throw in your questions. Ask Tony anything. Yeah, AMA. There. Just ask anything. All right, let's go back here because we do have important things to talk about when it comes to SDFC. Still some San Diego Wave action as well. The schedule is officially out for SDFC San Diego versus Irwin, I guess. Opening it up, a couple of matches here. I do have my thoughts on the actual promo itself and the actual wrestling that's happening. Be left to after. But yeah, all right, let's just take this slow. All right, so who do we have? Thank you for the production, the team that worked very hard on this. Could have invested a little bit more in the mask. Again, shout out to Leal 1904. Made the Octagol mask. Legitimately one of the coolest things that we've ever received for San Diego Punto Futbol. Like, the detail in this is insane. Octagol. Yeah, all right, let's do this. San Diego FC 2025 home schedule. It starts on March 1st St. Louis, one of the newest expansion teams coming down, flying in, really a test of expansion team versus expansion team. Like it's a good measuring stick, right? St. Louis came into MLS this in the last couple of years and took it by storm in a lot of different ways. The expectation of an expansion team coming in and just sucking for a little bit, kind of like Cincinnati did, and then getting everything together and getting a groove, was kind of thrown out the window. Where you saw St. Louis come in, have a competitive team. They came in, had a competitive team, made a playoff run, and I think that's as most as you can ask for an expansion team. At the end of the day, is be competitive, and I think a lot of people are starting to kind of get that perspective now, where it's not championship or bust for San Diego FC year one, and if it is, convince me. I would love to be convinced as far as how San Diego FC will have a parade come next year in early December, late November, in San Diego to celebrate a championship. Convince me how it's going to work right now in a league that you have a great parity. Again, credit to San Diego FC being part of MLS. Like MLS has a great parity. Like this is nothing too shocking to kind of really think about it, especially when you have the salary cap and everything that's built into the league to make sure that the competition aspect is something that is being respected and taken care of. All right, we will continue with video. So St. Louis, March 1st. A lot of night games. All right, foreign objects with soccer ball. I mean, where's the referee? All right. Columbus Crew, March 15th. Snapdragon Stadium. Winter Spring Solstice has gone. The obviously triple threat match. Seattle Sounders is going to be an interesting one. March 29th, LAFC. Sounders coming down. Real Salt Lake. We'll see if that's the return of San Diego's former San Diego Loyals former head coach, Nate Miller. Nate the Great. Maybe have another time. FC Dallas coming through. Colorado Rapids as well, moving into May. Kansas City, LA Galaxy again. Austin. I got it, Austin. Houston Dynamo, Achilles, Toronto, reunion of Insigne and Chucky, Whitecaps, which may move and be relocated. That's going to be interesting. In July, I don't know if it's a tag team match now. Those tights exist now. Like this attire exists somewhere with San Diego FC's crest and imagery on it. That's pretty cool. August 23rd, boom, boom, Minnesota FC. San Jose Quakes, close it out. There's the referee. Clearly a biased referee, a bot referee. I hope this is not what San Diego is going to be known for. Just clearly, showing favoritism there. A fast count. Our pal here, Luchador in the SDFC, just standing proud with the foreign object. Convenient that the referee did not see that ball being utilized in such a way. But yeah, so that is the home schedule for SDFC. There are going to be matches here leading up to the season. It was announced that San Diego FC will be part of the Coachella Valley Invitational. The 3 games that they will be a part of, they start February 8th. So everybody's first opportunity to see San Diego FC in action will be February 8th over at the Coachella Valley Invitational. February 12th against Portland. That first one's going to be against New York City. Against New York. And then the third one is the runners-up for the MLS Cup. Former club of Andy Reyes, now center back here for San Diego FC, on February 15th. So those are actually the first looks at San Diego FC, like historically, that's the first look at a San Diego FC squad. Tickets have already gone on sale for that. But again, pretty much a month away from the first time that San Diego FC will exist as an association football club. So that is exciting. Anuncia el calendario. We get the Spanish and English media blasts, which honestly we haven't used to our best abilities, just because again we can break news and utilize it in English and Spanish. The Spanish one goes as San Diego FC anuncia el calendario completo de la temporada. Oh, it's a typo. San Diego FC anuncia el calendario complete de la temporada regular 2025 de la MLS. SDFC hará un histórico debut en el Snapdragon Stadium ante St. Louis City el sábado 1 de marzo. San Diego FC iniciará la campaña inaugural contra LA Galaxy en el Dignity Health Sports Park el domingo 28 de febrero. Hoy se anunció el calendario. Hoy se anunció el calendario completo del club para la temporada regular 2025 de la MLS. Además de celebrar el lanzamiento del 30 Club de la Liga San Diego FC durante la 30 temporada de la liga. But Tony, what did you say? Layman's terms. San Diego FC announced the club's 2025 MLS regular season schedule. In addition to celebrating the launch of the league's 30th team, San Diego FC, during the league's 30th season, the MLS schedules pays tribute to the inaugural campaign. I don't know how it pays tribute to several iconic MLS original matches. But all right. So the final look of the complete schedule looks like wow. Wow. Look at that. There it goes. Exciting times. A full season for SDFC. Mostly, again, like promised, they get stadium priority. So a lot of night games. Priority goes to the team that paid the most. Therefore, it is San Diego FC. And you get the benefit of having mostly night games. Once this daylight saving time business ends, the sun will be setting closer. So 45 minutes of the fans that will be sitting facing the west will have the sun in their face at sunset. But again, if you do it at Petco Park, if people do it at Petco Park and don't complain about that sun hitting them in the face every time the sun sets and you're facing west, then I don't want to hear anybody complaining about the lack of shade there. Otherwise, criticize both. But not to be an apologist for Snapdragon Stadium, but that's definitely it. George says Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter at San Diego Sports Arena. Well, you heard it here, brother. San Diego Sports Arena, the legendary arena, has seen everything from Luis Miguel concerts to Jeff Hardy versus Umaga in a 2008 ECW one night stand. Also the same one night stand that Edge beat the Undertaker in the last man standing match for Undertaker's career. Edge actually won that match, but through shenanigans, the Undertaker was able to come back and continue his career. San Diego Sports Arena has also had, the Globetrotters are always there. It's really interesting because at the bottom in the basement, in the bowels of Sports Arena, because I love just walking around back when I did the soccer there. The Globetrotters nets and the backboards are all there in the basement, just ready to be set up whenever the Globetrotters come in. But yeah, let's see. What do we have here? A couple questions about Chucky Lozano coming off injury. How healthy is he really? As healthy as a player who has gone through a full half season of play in Europe, right? Like you hear it a lot in the NFL where it's like, well, the best team at the end of the year isn't the best; it's just the healthiest team. Show me a team that isn't injured. Show me a team that doesn't have a knock, right? Like Chucky Lozano is banged up, but he's has the fitness level to be able to make an appearance for PSV Eindhoven and still be important for them, and clearly still playing at a level that in Europe is producing. Chucky Lozano is producing at a high European level, still in the 99th percentile. I can actually give you the stats of where he's at right now in comparison in this past year. Where is he? Where is he? El Chucky Lozano. Irving Lozano. We're gonna hear from Manu Dua here in a bit as well. Let's see. Yeah, no. If you look at the production of Chucky Lozano, still operating the 98th percentile. Yeah, okay, 85th percentile. And then this is in comparison to peers in that same positioning, the same style, 85th percentile in the top leagues as well. So that's still pretty good. Shot creating actions, 92 percentile. That's fantastic. Progressive pass. What is this? In touches, attacking penalty into the penalty area, 99%. Progressive passes received. So he's a pass magnet. He's somebody who the offense runs through. 99th percentile. Interceptions actually underrated that he has an 86th percentile on that. He's on there. This is compared to players in the positional peers in the men's next 14 competitions over the last 365 days based on 1,214 minutes played this last season. And so right now, this season in the Eredivisie with PSV Eindhoven, he's played 9 matches, 289 minutes. He's had 4 goals, 2 assists in that time. And then in the Champions League, he's played 2 games. He's had 35 minutes, no goals, no assists in that one. But I mean, for a pretty much a 30-year-old coming in to the latter side of his career, he's still producing. He's still a dangerous player. He's still a player that's going to have to that commands respect just by him being on the pitch. He commands respect, and he's somebody that people are going to try to overlook because again, you have this kind of notion where you have players like Messi, you have players like Insigne came in and commanded respect as well, but just the level of player that is coming in to the league now is such that other players may get a little lax when they're not facing Messi, when they are not facing some of the best in the world. Chucky Lozano is going to be one of those players that is going to command the respect, but he's not going to go ahead and be that player that scores every single one of your goals. If you're looking to a player that's going to be on the score sheet and be contending for top scorer in the league, that's not going to be Chucky Lozano. Chucky Lozano is going to be more of the creation, the impact player that is going to change the rhythm, that's going to change the course, going to fight for every single ball and every single opportunity. That's the one thing that Lozano cannot be knocked on. It's just effort and just the way he carries himself on the field. He may not be able to do much or create a lot on the offensive side of things, but he's going to make things happen. He's a game changer. He's somebody who, will put everything on the line in the time that he's there, but make everybody around him a little bit better. But yeah, so sun good for the skin. Absolutely. Welcome back from Hawaii there, Brandon. Ivan, no, exactly. Ivan said, I hear that critics like Hercules Gomez saying that Chucky won't score more than 14 goals next season. And again, that's not, he's not a goal magnet. Like, he's not that player that's going to go ahead and notch you 14 plus goals in the season. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be your best player. That doesn't mean that he's going to be a player that, again, is going to be contending for that golden boot. But if you're looking for that, okay, fine. But if you get a chance to have a distribution of goals and having Varsen get involved. If you have Tomas Angel, the young Colombian, who's honestly looking pretty impressive. There's a lot of talk around Tomas Angel and his development, an opportunity to really explode in this setting. Then that's going to be interesting, right? Like that's going to be interesting. Where, yeah, you get Chucky Lozano for the for the marketing aspect, for the big name aspect. He can still play, but is he going to go ahead and score hat trick after hat trick or just brace after brace? I don't think so. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. He looked good in the Champions League game where they lost 1-0. He ran pretty good last game. Yesterday he played 4 minutes. And again, at this point too, is like it's a business decision too. Like it's making sure that he stays healthy. I would hate for Chucky to go ahead and be injured off the gate. So now he's going to go ahead and go on a small vacation, going to have some time off with the family, and then he's going to report back or report into San Diego for the first time, closer to the time where the players check in for the preseason. And so that timeline is going to be coming in very, very soon. Actually, I think, let me break it down. I think I have Aníbal Godoy. They are rounding out their coaching as well. San Diego FC, the inaugural coaching staff is now set. Frank Hoytenberg as the assistant coach, Kelvin Jones as well, Luciano Fusco, and Jason Grubb. Some experience, some more than others. There's a chance that somebody who's coaching a under 15 team recently can have a straight shot to being an MLS coach. If things fall terribly for Mikey Varas and everybody behind him, that can be definitely a reality for that. Yeah, he was out for 2 months, 100%. Yeah, people are excited for the Coachella Invitational. San Diego Wave will also be there. Is Robbie Keane the greatest MLS signing? What is the greatest MLS signing in terms of what? In terms of production on the field, being able to be an impact player, revenue, eyes? Because again, like, hate to be that guy, but Messi was a good move. It was a good business move. In terms of production, potentially, yeah. I can definitely see that. Ask anybody in the MLS, officially in the MLS this last season, they will say Messi. They named him MVP. Literally the most valuable player, sure, on a literal sense, but based on everything else and the metrics, you could have chosen Christian Benteke for MVP, and nobody would have batted an eye. But before his injury, he was playing really good, about 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, and he was scoring. He was getting involved. Gomez can talk all he wants. Chucky's going to play his style, where I think he's going to score. And that's going to be benefit. It's going to be interesting if he does. How do you compare Lozano to Insigne in Toronto? Both played at Napoli. Similar players where, in that play style that obviously let Chucky by the wayside when Genaro Ivan Gattuso came over to Napoli. Didn't really trust Chucky as much, and so kind of broke down those relationships with the club as well. But it's very similar in that. Same thing with like Sebastián Giovinco coming into Toronto a couple years ago. Somebody who's going to play different at a different tempo, at a different pace than anybody else in the league. He wasn't going to be a starter since they knew he was leaving mid-season. They gave him playing time to be good with good form for SDFC. Media talk smack because he's coming to MLS. Yeah, and until proven otherwise, we'll see where this leads for San Diego FC. It was the right move. This was always the move that they wanted in the beginning. When we spoke with Tom Penn, when they started to come in, when MLS was announcing that this was going to be the location for the 30th team, that was always going to be who their target man was. Chucky Lozano was always going to be the target man, just circled to go ahead and try to get, and they landed him. And it did well. So break down the schedule real quick before we move on to a couple of other things. For STFC, February there's going to be 1 game, March 5 games, April 4 games, 7 in May, 3 in June, 5 in July, 4 in August, September 3rd, October 2nd. Let's see. Essentially, from here on out, where to go? Circle, circle, circle. Presented by DirecTV. Presented by AT&T. Pre-game. Preview. Presented by DirecTV. Media. Training. Media training. Thank you guys for joining us. You guys are... All right. So lastly with the schedule, again, the Coachella Valley Invitational is be happening. San Diego FC will report to preseason camp on Friday, January 11th. So Friday, January 11th is the first day of preseason when players start reporting. That's going to be entry medicals for all the players flying in and being part of San Diego FC. So as of January 11th, the first official training session will happen on Monday, January 13th. So Monday, January 13th will be the first ever San Diego FC training. A little less than a month away from their Coachella Valley Invitational preseason match. So you can kind of imagine just the difficult task of getting a bunch of players and putting them together for the first time and seeing what you got. That's literally what's about to happen here. January 11th. Obviously, you can scout, you can kind of put things together, but you're never going to see the actual chemistry of the players and implement the style of play that you want in after a couple seasons of preseason, let alone the first one ever. So that'll be interesting. We will have some coverage from the Performance Center over in Sequan Land on Friday, January 18th. So on January 18th, we will have exclusive coverage from the Performance Center over for San Diego FC from the Right to Dream installations. There will be a closed door exhibition for STFC against Phoenix Rising on January 25th. Sacramento Republic, February 1st at the club's Performance Center over at the Sequan Land. And then they'll travel over to the Coachella Valley Invitational against New York City FC, Portland, and then New York City Red Bulls. And then boom, like January 11th. That's it. How many away games do you plan on going to? I plan on going to the majority of just like the local ones, like the California ones. I'm circling some other games as well. Let me see. Where to go? Preseason match, media availability, Friday the 17th. Oh, the wrong date is on there. Oh boy, guys. Oh, jeez. Sorry, didn't mean to proofread on air, guys. But yeah, I want to go to. Oh man, that's right. Elephant in the room. No Miami, guys. Sorry, that's not happening. Miami's not. Sorry. We told everybody that Messi was going to be here. Get your field ticket so you can breathe Messi's air. Not happening. Sorry. Boo. People were mad. People were pissed. People are upset. I know a lot of people who already bought their season tickets are like, what the fuck? Nothing that the club could have done about that one. MLS is the one that controls that. But to answer your question, Esteban, I mean, I'd like to go to a Lumen Field up in Seattle match. I'm trying to think. Obviously the BMO stuff and Dignity Health. I'm going to be at the first match. Definitely got to be there. And then which ones would I like to go? I'd like to go to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium over in Atlanta, see what they got over there. Why not use my passport? Hopefully I get my Century by then to go to Vancouver. If that's still going to be the last roll around before they get moved or not. Um, Salt Lake. I'd also want to go to meet up with Coach Nate Miller once again. Add me to your team so I can go to the Galaxy one and hold the mic for the camera. How many people have volunteered so graciously throughout the years? Let's see. What is this? How does that work? What do you are you not play all the MLS teams? I don't get the format. Not you don't get the format. Let's see, I got you. I got you. Where'd it go? 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 Season. Performance, the MLS. Thank you guys for joining. Again, we'll cut this out a little bit early. We'll talk San Diego Wave. Guess what? We're right. Jonas Aidabal. Gonna be confirmed as being San Diego Wave new head coach, former WSL women's over in England league Arsenal coach, slated to be the coach for San Diego Wave, as we had announced a couple weeks ago. Hey, Hillary Beale re-signed. Ding ding ding. Goalkeeper for San Diego Wave hired. I got the answer for you right now. And again, this is the learning aspect of this, right? Like everybody's learning together. We are all, again, I see what Tom Bogert's going through as well. Like he's flying the plane and putting it together at the same time, as most of us are, as well. Let's see. Editorial, right? Schedule graphics. No, I don't need to schedule graphics. Will play each. This is riveting content. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Unread email. Trying to find, because there is that. I have the breakdown exactly of how it comes down in terms of how many games. Here we go. In addition to San Diego FC as the league's 30th, the club will format will include every MLS team competing in 34 regular season games. Every team is competing in 34 regular season games, featuring 17 at home, 17 on the road. Pretty standard. Great. Clubs will play conference opponents twice. So that's 28 games. So MLS conferences and broken down Eastern and Western Conference, 15 and 15. So, the conference where San Diego resides, LAFC, LA Galaxy, Real Salt Lake, Seattle Sounders, Houston Dynamo, Minnesota, Colorado, Vancouver, Portland, Austin. There are some movements in there. 20, 25. But essentially that's how that's played. So you play each team in your conference twice. So again, that's 28 games right off the gate. San Diego FC being the 15th team. So again, in alpha order: Austin, Colorado, FC Dallas, Houston Dynamo, LA Galaxy, LAFC, Minnesota, Portland, Real Salt Lake, San Jose, Seattle Sounders, Sporting Kansas City, St. Louis, and Vancouver. That is, as the kids say, the ops for San Diego FC. Providence Park and Park, Portland is amazing atmosphere with the Timbers Army. Absolutely. I've met so many people that came up and grew up with learning soccer and supporter culture through that, or just intaking soccer through the Timbers and everything that the Pacific Northwest has to offer. Great stuff. But yeah, okay, so go back to the schedule. So that's 28 games right then and there. Once at home, once in away. Pretty standard. Each club will play 6 different cross-conference opponents, 3 at home and 3 away. But that's the breakdown for that. I mean, how it's decided, it hopefully is per at random what the out of conference opponents are. Leagues Cup will also be in play. Leagues Cup 2025, the official CONCACAF tournament between Liga MX and MLS, will be played July 29th through August 31st. And similar to Global Cup competitions, Leagues Cup will take place during the MLS regular season. And everything is up in the air with Leagues Cup as well. And then ultimately, the whole league, the whole year, the whole season will conclude in the Audi 2025 MLS Cup playoffs in the Major League Soccer's championship match presented by Audi. The schedule for that will happen as the year progresses as well. I don't know if that answered any question. It is confusing. A lot of this is confusing. Season ticket holders, I believe, are 17 home games. I forgot how many leagues games. Yeah, take MTS, guys. Take MTS. Don't give in to $50 tickets. Hey, you guys want to hear from number one pick Manandua? Let's hear from him and his excitement in being part of San Diego FC. Free parking for premium members. There you go. I like that for premium members.
Coach Maki Varas was actually talking about some of your play style and profile. Can you take us a little bit into what style you like to operate there in the six? He was mentioning that one of your favorite players was Busquets, and just kind of take us through what you like to see on the field. And how is the program as a fellow Gaucho there?
So talking about Busquets.
Did not mean to say fellow Gaucho. I did not attend Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara. Attended a party there a couple times. Just one party, a couple times.
He's like my really, really favorite player. I like his style of play, and that's the most that I really get from him by learning how he plays. Just one more thing that I've added is like I'm more athletic than Busquets. That's the only difference, but he's like really, really good, you know. So I like his style of play. I like how they build through him. So I like teams that really, really like building through the six. And I feel comfortable just like he does. I make sure like there's no much pressure. I want to always control the tempo of the game for my team. And that was what I did for UCSB by controlling the game tempo. I know when to go fast, when to slow games down, and how to keep the ball as well, just like Busquets does.
Okay, we'll go to Mark Ziegler next. Mark, you should be able to unmute.
Thank you. A couple questions. How familiar are you with the Right to Dream Academy in Ghana? And is there a comfort level coming to a project that is so linked to your home country?
So first of all, I did not play for Right to Dream. I'm from New Life Academy, and the lifestyle there, how they play is just by building from the back. They like to put the ball on the ground, not like kicking the ball long that much. But we play games, so it was mostly built through the sixes, and the whole team tries to give the six like much confidence, put their trust in the six, and make sure he's like good enough and comfortable, and keep the ball for them. So with that, that's how like I've been. But I wasn't playing for Right to Dream. I played for New Life Academy.
So Manandua there, just kind of giving his thoughts on himself in a lot of ways, an exciting prospect. Yeah, I also enjoyed that. He didn't want to talk about Right to Dream Academy. He played for New Life Academy and give a good breakdown of what the academy that he comes from and what type of style of play that they specialize in developing through that. And you know, it's like asking a player in Mexico, like, hey, like, how did you like coming up through the canteras and the academy of Atlas? And it's like, well, bro, I actually played for the canteras of Chivas, but this is how we played over there, and this is what I learned. So good on there for being able to just, you know, stick up for who you are and what you are over in Ghana. I really enjoy that as well. Where am I? There we go. But all right. Is there anything else, San Diego FC, that we need to talk about, that we need to cover? Hey, order tickets are extended. The Super Draft schedule was released. Gentlemen, people, I will be glad to close that chapter. We did talk about a little San Diego Wave as well. Again, just mentioning off the top of the SDFC, the manager update for yeah, just get into it real quick. Wow, look at that. Turned out to be true. Our sources had confirmed that WSL Arsenal boss Jonas Eidevall, former WSL Arsenal boss Jonas Eidevall, to be announced the new head coach of San Diego Wave, was expected to make the announcement the first few weeks of December. Obviously, with Jalalis departing, there were a couple of movements within the office that shook a little, rattled some stuff, and Jalalis departing was probably one of those. But now it looks like the track is going back into Eidevall's direction, and so that should be getting announced here soon. I know Jeff Kassouf also had different sources finally confirming this to be true. Hillary Beale, goalkeeper that broke her foot by kicking the post after she saved a penalty, has re-signed an extension for San Diego Wave as well, coming back for another year. So trying to think, is there anything else? Hey, we need to help Ziggles. Hey, we try to help. We like to try to help. What in the world is this? All right. The Hong Kong Derby. All right. LA Galaxy versus San Diego FC. The Hong Kong Derby. I mean, wouldn't that be Cholos versus San Diego? Right? Wouldn't that apply more there? Right? Like Hong Kong is actually in Tijuana? I don't know. But all right. I still need to get Christmas stuff wrapped. All right. Where to go? We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. All right. I think it's time. It's time. Congratulations to everybody who's made fantasy football finals. You deserve it. You deserve it. I apologize for the show tonight. Chiba, Abraham, weren't able to make it here with you, making it happen on another week. Next week, however, we will have a chance. Let's see if I can play it from here. By the way, I really like the intro tonight. You guys didn't see the intro. There you go.
Milhouse, ¿estás viendo el canal 7? ¡Ah, sí! Es algo fantástico. ¡Ah!
You ready? I'm ready. Oh my goodness. This place is off the hook.
Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. I'm pooped.
Yes, I should be. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora Borealis.
Santa's got a surprise for you.
I'll take a no Goku action figure in the back. I'm down. Make it happen. Love to add to the settings. This is the second to last podcast of the year. We will be back next week. Maybe this is the last one of the year. Thank you, Esteban. I worked hard on it. I didn't work hard. So with that, I think it's a good time to close it on down. And this is going to be brought on you guys. You're going to help me out with the goals, gaffes, and greats. It's a holiday edition of goals, gaffes, and greats. And literally, we're just going to go ahead and talk about the holidays. Goals, gaffes, and greats. All right, so some goals of the holidays. Some goals, some good stuff. You know, you celebrate. This is a goal. There's no feeling like it. There's no other jubilation that you can feel when your team scores a game winner or seals it. Like, but what are some goals, feelings in the holiday? Like, I really like the feeling of being brave enough for the first time to be allowed to light a firecracker or a cohete, and it successfully works out by not blowing up your hand. There's no risk because it's just like that's the cebollitas, little sparklers. But you know, that's a big moment in the holidays. Being asked to do something for once and be part of the adult table. Getting the presents, obviously, that's awesome. I have a very love-hate relationship with this season, as my birthday falls on December 29th, so I've always had to struggle with it's all good. Chuki's PSV fans chanting his name on his last game. No, he was a good player, a cult hero for PSV Eindhoven. That was his team. Left, played at Napoli, came back, did great. What are some of your guys' best gifts that you've ever received in the holiday? I already mentioned my PS1. Every time I lit a Mexican firecracker, you're gambling. 100%. 100%. Every time, yeah, no, don't do it. I do not recommend it. Speaking of Mexican holidays, Mexican gambling, like gambling with your family, like whether it's loteria, whether it's like whether it's just with the deck of cards, like gambling in the holidays, like you get to really understand. And as you grow up, you understand who and what you got. I'm not a big holiday person. It's just a Wednesday. Like if you ask me, oh, what are you gonna do Christmas? It's a Wednesday. Same thing with my birthday. Oh, what are you gonna do for your birthday? It's another day. It's okay. Like, don't worry about it. 1 year in the holiday season, it was Christmas. Everybody was together at my La Casa Grande, the big house where all the tios go over and everybody meets up and has dinner. And then we would still do the midnight wake up. Oh my God, Santa came. You missed him. Oh my God, we told you we'd wake you up at 12, but it's 12:02. You missed him. And then 12:01, he was here. He dropped off all the presents. My mom asked me to go upstairs and go into the closet to bring her something. And it was like 4 p.m. And I was like 7 years old, maybe. And I got sent over, and like the magic of Christmas was still a thing. Like the magic of Christmas was still a thing for me. Whether or not that was Santa or whatever it meant. 7's a little old, actually. But I go up, open the closet, and what do I see? Then clearly, like I've never seen this anywhere, and I immediately loved it when I saw it first time. I opened the closet, and staring right back at me was the little play foosball table that my parents got me. That was clearly going to be my Christmas present. And they gave it to me, and were like, "Well, I found it." And I was just like, "Oh, of course. Well, of course it's your parents. Of course the gift's already there." Of course, it's an awesome, sick foosball table. Like not a big, it's just a little tabletop plastic tabletop foosball table. Like, I saw it, I'm like, I'm gonna love this. This is great. But it just broke my heart just knowing, like, man, like just the realization, like they had to pay for this, and I ruined the surprise. Like that broke my heart. Like, damn, I'm gonna have to fake at midnight when I wake up and be like, oh wow, thank you. You guys are awesome. But it was a really cool present. I really appreciate that. Another shout out for best present was a year where I actually got the ultimate lightsaber build kit, and this is like the original one. Now there's all these different wackadoodle ones. But I was fortunate enough to one year on eBay for $250. Oh my god. The ultimate lightsaber. Build your own lightsaber kit. You have the kyber crystals in there. You can be a Sith Lord. You can make it a double-ended Darth Maul lightsaber, but then you can be a good guy because you can make one of the ends blue and one of the ends green. Or you're struggling with your inner dark side, so one of the sides is red and one of the sides is green, or whatever you just felt like doing it. The hilts, you made it like you could build a classic Luke Skywalker one. You can fuse it together and be like, you know what, Anakin's had its merit. Different lengths, and it turned on and it lit up, and then when you crash it, it actually sounded when you crashed it against something. I didn't have any boy cousins or brothers to play. Now it's build your own droid. Oh man. What do we have? Let me know, what are some of your favorite gifts that you've ever received? This is goals, Gaffin Grant. This is the goal. Probably either a PS3 or a 2010 Jabulani match ball. These are the actual match ball that just moved everywhere. The Diego Forlan match ball. Also, a massive Lego set was always the best. I love that. I guess let's move into holiday. Holiday gaffs. Not having batteries for the cool toy that you just got and having to wait because everything on Christmas Day is closed. So there's nowhere to get batteries for your awesome toys because batteries not included. That happens so many times. Again, I sound like a spoiled guy. Didn't have batteries, but it's like, damn, I was so excited to go ahead and use this remote control car. I'm fortunate enough to even have received presents in the first place. Nerf gun, solid. That's solid. Lego sets are always the best. Nintendo, the original one, playing all night long. Yep, Dad, you just plugged that sucker up. What game was it? The original Nintendo. Just the original, just Mario. I got into the SNES when I was 3 years old. Back when I used to fit on the shopping carts as a child, as a toddler. I was at the Walmart on Broadway next to Best Buy here in the South Bay, Chula Vista National City area. So I was in the cart and I was 3 years old, and my dad was pushing the cart with stuff we had already finished, pushing the cart, letting it go, running, catching it, pushing the cart, running, catching, it's funny. It was at nighttime, and back in the early 90s, I think in 95, 96, there's no lines painted on the dark pavement. And so one of these times he pushed me, ran, caught it. Pushed me, ran, caught it. Pushed me, ran, caught it. Pushed me. Then there was a speed bump, but it's not painted and it's dark, so you didn't see it. And so he pushed me, and so it went over the bump. This cart is filled with Walmart stuff, flipped, landed on my legs, and broke my femur. So I had a broken femur and a cast from my ankles all the way to my midriff, with a pole separating my two legs because they couldn't be together. So they carried me from my back and from the pole. And I played the SNES, Super Nintendo, forever, and that was that was lit. And it's the same feeling as you playing Super Mario and Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt was absolutely fantastic. But Edwin says Pogs, Harry Potter game set. Harry Potter game set, the one where you used to have to throw the spells, like you would set the little monitos on the thing and they send the spells. That'd be awesome. Rugrats toys, foosball / ping pong, 7 on 1 table. Excellent. That's my first jersey ever, and why I support Bayern. Frank Ribéry, France jersey in 07. Wow. Ribéry is an underrated player, even to this day. Even the time he did at Fiorentina was actually pretty awesome. We shot at Chemco. We used to have a Fedco in National City. It used to be where Peter Piper Pizza is at. We're talking way back in the 90s. Hey, Peter Piper Pizza es la pizza preferida over in Mexico. I love Peter Piper Pizza. Favorite things to eat, guys. Favorite things to eat over the holidays. All right, gaff. What is a gaff? Not having batteries. Gaff that I've done in the holidays was buy my mom a shirt because I had money, pesos. I went over and I bought her a shirt that was like 3 X's too big for her. And just like, oh, okay. I'm just giving bad memories like at this point for Christmas. What's another gaff? Another gaff is not going somewhere and having good food for that day. It's a big no. Fedco is where the current Walmart is located in National City. I remember that 100%. That's my cutoff, George. That's I remember going to Fedco and carrying big old gallons of milk back to the car and being all proud of it. One trip. All right. So I guess that just takes us to greats. On this holiday season, the greats is everybody here. Everybody here is an absolute great because you have helped little old me, Chiva, and Abe continue our dreams of, I don't know, of doing this on a regular basis. It's really just an honor to be able to say that we're involved in San Diego soccer in any capacity. I know it's not the show people expected. It's fine. I want to thank Julio from Kickball Pod. We will be having the 2 balls at a mic, San Diego Football end of the year awards in retrospective. We will bring back the goal of the year, the gaff of the year, the grade of the year. We will have voting. This will be voted on by our listeners. Esteban, my family and I enjoy tamales, Colombian empanadas, Colombian buñuelos, and natilla. Ooh. I love it. Breaking your toy within an hour of opening your gift. I had the original Transformer jet fighter. Oh, broke the arm. That's my gaff. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Breaking the toy within the hour of opening. Oh. You still remember that to this day. To this day. Gaff the middle of the day on Xmas, on Christmas. Happy holidays, Jeff. Happy holidays to everybody. Season's greetings. Literally the only time of the year where that joke doesn't make me giggle as much. The actual season's greetings to everybody who's joined us. Season's greetings. There are a lot of interesting developments happening for San Diego Football in 2025. Just stay tuned. There are some really interesting things happening with San Diego Football in 2025. San Diego Football Extended Universe continues with Club Deportivo Movie Club. That is the podcast found on this same network, hosted by the great and powerful Drew Steck, Cesar H. Football, where they talk about movies. It's a book club, but a movie club. ESPN writer Cesar H. Football, Cesar Hernandez. Drew, welcome Craig, powerful Craig. There will be updates for San Diego Soccer's and Soccer's Overtime. That podcast will more than likely be making a return here soon. But check that out. They watched the movie Victory, which is which stars Sylvester Stallone and Pele. A legitimate soccer movie featuring Pele and Sylvester Stallone. I think that sells itself. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Season's greetings. Have a good holiday. Have a good day. Have a good next couple of days. Eat healthy. Be healthy. Say hi to your family for me. For me, myself, and all my million. San Diego Punto Football forever. Bye.